It was a sweltering afternoon when the sky suddenly darkened, announcing a fierce storm approaching the small village of Banna, situated by a winding river. Malee stood at her window, watching as ominous clouds gathered on the horizon. Her husband, Praiwan, had yet to return from work, and a sense of unease gripped her chest. Lately, things between them had been strained. Praiwan had grown distant, aggressive, and rumors swirled around the village about his involvement in shady dealings. Deep down, Malee knew something was terribly wrong. As night fell, the storm unleashed its fury. Thunder shook the ground and the wind howled as though trying to tear the very soul from the trees. Malee hurried to lock the windows and doors, but the storm's force was unrelenting. Suddenly, a loud bang came from the entrance. Praiwan had returned, drunk, with fury burning in his eyes. "Where have you been?" Malee yelled, her voice nearly drowned out by the pounding rain. But he didn't answer. His gaze was cold, and he walked toward her with a menacing presence. In one hand, he held a bottle of liquor, the stench of alcohol and violence clinging to him. Malee's heart raced. This is a mistake, she thought, backing away slowly, but Praiwan advanced, his footsteps heavy with anger. "You think you can control me, Malee," he slurred, his voice bitter and dark. "Everyone in the village thinks you're so perfect, but I know what you really are." His words dripped with venom. Malee began to cry, pleading for him to stop, but his rage blinded him. In the chaos of the storm, Malee fought to break free, her heart pounding wildly. But Praiwan's grip was too strong. He shoved her against the wall, the impact sending a shock of pain through her body. At that moment, a flash of lightning lit up the house, just long enough for Malee to see the pure hatred in her husband's eyes. Then it happened. With a brutal shove, Praiwan sent Malee crashing to the ground, her head striking the corner of a wooden table with a sickening thud. The sound of the impact was drowned by the storm's roar, and her body lay still as a pool of blood began to spread beneath her head. The storm seemed to carry away the last breath of life from Malee. Praiwan stood over her, breathing heavily, staring at what he had done. For a moment, the weight of his actions struck him, but fear quickly took over. He couldn't be caught. In a desperate panic, he dragged Malee's lifeless body outside, leaving it at the edge of the river, hoping the floodwaters would carry it away. Then, without looking back, he vanished into the night, believing his crime would be hidden by the wrath of nature. The days that followed were filled with sorrow and whispers. Malee's body was found drenched and disfigured, as though she had been dragged violently by the river's currents. But the truth behind her death was never discovered. Many believed she was a victim of the storm, swept away by the flood. Yet, some villagers who knew of her troubled marriage suspected foul play, but Praiwan had disappeared without a trace. After Malee's funeral, strange things began to happen in the village. On dark and stormy nights when the winds howled and the rains fell like daggers, villagers swore they heard whispers coming from the riverbanks. Some claimed to see a woman, her clothes tattered and soaked, standing by the water's edge, her face streaked with blood, eyes filled with agony and hatred. At first, people dismissed these sightings as mere superstition, but the apparitions became more frequent. Then the disappearances began. Young men who ventured near the river at night were never seen again. Fishermen who worked along the banks vanished mysteriously. And always, before tragedy struck, someone would catch a glimpse of the woman, her pale figure watching the village, waiting for something, or someone. The village elders soon reached a terrible conclusion. Malee had become a Phi Tai Hong, a vengeful spirit trapped in the world of the living because of her sudden, violent death. Her spirit, unable to find peace, now sought retribution. She would not rest until others shared in her pain. the villagers tried everything to appease her restless spirit. Monks were called to perform purification rituals, and offerings were placed by the river's edge. Yet, nothing worked. Malee's spirit, now a Phi Tai Hong, had grown too powerful, fueled by her violent end and the injustice she had suffered. Her thirst for revenge would not be easily quenched. As the years passed, Ban Na was slowly abandoned. Stories of the Phi Tai Hong spread across Thailand, and Malee's name was forgotten, replaced by the legend of a merciless, vengeful ghost. Today, many avoid Ban Na on stormy nights, fearing that the spirit still lingers, waiting for more victims. And those who dare venture close to the river swear they hear her whispers in the wind, a reminder that death is only the beginning of her vengeance.